Trustee Paulsen.
Here.
Trustee Hacker.
You can't see
No, we
it.
can't.
Yeah. Yes. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. Trustee Lucas.
Here.
Trustee Electa.
Here.
Supervisor Prater.
Here. Starting off the meeting real quick, I would like to actually make a motion to include Trustee Hacker in the meeting. He's away on business with work. If I could please have a second.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Trustee Lucas. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Trustee Paulsen.
Aye.
Trustee Hacker.
Aye.
Trustee Lucas.
Aye.
Trustee Electa.
Aye.
Supervisor Prater.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you very much. Please, all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Audience participation, I can read these three little tidbits that we had some people call in or email in. Damaris Alexson called to express how greatly she appreciates the bus services and highly relies on it. She appreciates those who are involved in making the bus functioning service, and more so appreciates Steve. She mentions that he is always very kind, friendly, and patient, especially when it comes from her taking longer to get up the steps. Damaris relies on her bus service as her method of transportation. 3-8, while scheduling her weekly ride, Lorraine Erickson also shared a few comments about the bus service. Lorraine stated that she would not be opposed to increasing the rate on the bus. Lorraine does not have access to a smartphone or computer, which are necessary when using other rideshare services such as Uber, Lyft, Ride to Page sometimes, and are more expensive, unreliable, and can be unsafe for the elderly. Lorraine has family that is away half the year, and the family that is around all have jobs, and it's difficult to take her places. Lastly, Lorraine expressed that everyone gets old and will eventually no longer have the capability to drive. So while it's easy to think in the present, Lorraine recommends to those who are in favor of eliminating the bus service to please think of themselves when they need transportation and have no family around to help them drive places. And then the final one I have is Diane Davis called this morning to schedule a ride, asked me to share comments regarding the bus. She said she wants the township to keep the bus. It is very handy. She has utilized the services for years and heavily relied on it from December 2021 to date. Those are the comments or public comments that I received about the bus. Are there any other public comments or audience participation? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Discussion or approval.
Can I make say something here right now before we even go any farther? Okay.
What,
My
what's
question-
it regarding?
It's regarding about what we're just gonna do.
Can we do it and then go into discussion?
I'll make a motion that we discuss A, B, and C right now.
Well, that.
Because
we're-
we don't have to discuss this in a budget workshop meeting. This can be discussed at a regular board meeting.
Case in point, however,
That's fine.
two
Because
trustees
it's also on here.
were asked for it to be on by law and
Okay.
for a lawyer, for both of them to be on both meetings.
Okay.
So that's why they're both on there. And the law is on that is whatever the oldest vote is, it's that. So, new business, discussion and approval of updated Winfield Township bus program. Riders are allowed to request rides to go 5 miles outside the township. No more fees collected. The bus shall be a free service and age should be lowered from 60 to 65. So at this
You mean from
moment,
65 to 60?
or from 60 to
Yeah.
65, sorry, I'm 60
65
to,
to 60.
yes, correct, thank you. I first would like to start by making a motion to keep the bus territory as is, raise the fee to $5, keep bus access at the minimum age of 55, which I lowered in November of 2021, and give the supervisor and the staff authority over the day-to-day decisions made related to the bus service, because there are things that happen during the day, like, for example, if someone doesn't come to the bus but they need help, the bus driver has to call 911, wait for them, or next to kin. There's some things that happen within the bus that we have to make a decision daily,
Right.
if we can do it or not do it, or go places or not go places. So I'd like to make that motion, please. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, trustee Lucknow. Discussion.
I have discussion here. How is this related to our budget when we have it on here, and it's also on this page also, that this is stuff that we can discuss during our regular meeting?
Again,
Well, I understand it's gotta be there, but this is all stuff, we got it on here.
I'm happy to discuss it at the regular meeting. I'm the one who would ask for
Okay,
it.
no, it's fine.
And no, the reason I asked for it is because we discussed it at the budget meeting. Since we were discussing it at the budget meeting, I wanted them to discuss it again. But I'm happy to move this to a regular meeting.
it's already, we have a
It's
motion
already
and
here.
a second on a.
Yeah, but I'm not.
So at the same time, we can do it now, we can do it now,
What's the
and then,
difference?
Yeah, it doesn't make a
We
difference.
can do it now.
Because it's on this agenda.
right, we can do it now, and then.
So you're saying that, so then we're not gonna approve it on the regular board meeting agenda?
It's still a meeting. Still a special meeting, we can say we've discussed and decided, and we can vote again the same way if we want to on that aspect.
So thank you for lowering the age. It wasn't lowered on the website as of February. I don't know if you've updated it, but as of February, our last meeting, it still said 65. So maybe you've updated on the website. And thank you for that. I do, I could, I do want to go 5 miles outside because that really restricts people. And that could also be, I think that's something that we could, go up to 5 miles outside and then reassess it.
How far is 5 miles outside the township, trustee Lucas?
5 miles.
How far is that? Have you driven it?
It's 5 miles.
So from Lee Morville South High School to Route 53, that's acceptable to you. Now, what about all the people in between that? That see the township bus and say, well, we see this bus, why can't we utilize it?
They can call.
And then the service would be a free service for those people to use that are in Milton Township, that are in
No.
Kane County, that are
Nobody is
in,
asking to open it up to people outside Winfield Township.
that's what I just asked you. That's what I asked you. What about the people out within that 5 mile radius
No,
of
no,
Winfield
no, it
Township
would still be Winfield Township residents,
only?
but it would extend the borders of where we would go.
I hear that, but at the same time, I want to keep the bus in DuPage County.
So we're really close to Kane County, so, we are on the westmost part of DuPage County. So if somebody's gotta go, what is that, Kane maybe next door, is that Kane?
Correct, that's King County.
What would be your objection if they had a doctor or something that was right there, that was outside of our?
The casino that's gonna be built in Aurora, across from the Chicago Green Mountain Mall. I am not up to helping people's gambling problems or drinking problems or anything like that. I don't wanna put my staff in that type of situation either, to just have someone say, call, drop me off at 9 o'clock in the morning at the casino and then come pick me up at 4 o'clock. I'm not up for that. And
So
they
they're
wasted-
building a casino, so you're worried about something that they're going to build in the future?
Absolutely.
Well,
And you
you
have
know
to look
what, I
forward.
think that's a bridge we should cross
also-
when it happens.
Also, I'm also worried about the carbon footprint that we're putting out there as well.
Right, that's why a bus is better. It's called carpooling.
Hold on.
I feel like this is badgering. We're just getting off topic. We wanted to go up 5 miles outside the radius. Just hold the vote, please.
Okay,
I
excellent.
got one question then.
Yeah.
So there's 5 miles, does that mean somebody could go to a Cougars game?
Correct.
I see.
That would be great if they have, I don't know if they have days games. What would wrong, if you had a senior who wanted to go to the Cougars game, King County Cougars, what would be wrong with that?
They'd have to go there and then they'd have to, the time that it's
This is
allotted
good.
for people for a daily. That's the situation. Okay, call the roll call, please.
So what's the question?
So are
The
we
motion
tabling
on the table, or motion on, is to keep the bus territory as is, raise the fee to $5, keep the bus access minimum age of 55, and give the supervisor the authority to the day-to-day decisions related to the bus service. So if someone is an emergency that they need to go to Kane County Cougars game, and we're able to accommodate them, I can make that decision if need be. Or if, hey, sorry, we have an emergency or 2 wheelchairs lined up, we can't take you to the Cougars game, you're gonna have to get an Uber.
That's nowhere, Nicole, that motion is nowhere listed on A, B, or C.
If you paid attention, Sean, if you paid attention, I made the motion at the very beginning and Barbara Leckner seconded that motion. So please call roll.
Wait. So we're either we're gonna approve or disapprove how it's written here.
Right,
So
But
they
I
are,
made a motion, I made a
they
different
are gonna be
motion.
allowed.
I made a different motion.
but see,
The
if you're-
motion on the table is to keep the bus territory as is, raise the fee to $5, keep the bus access minimum age of 55, and the supervisor has authority to the day-to-day decisions related to the bus.
Okay, my problem is.
Point of order.
All right,
Yes,
yeah, we got it.
it's called, let's call the roll, please.
Well, no,
I've asked it
this
now
is
3
part of the
times.
Alright, trustee
discussion.
I've asked it now
No.
3 times.
Trustee Hacker,
No on Nicole's motion.
trustee Lucas,
No,
trustee Electa,
Aye.
supervisor Prater.
Aye. Motion fails. Okay. Any other discussion?
yeah, I'd like to discuss what's on the agenda. I'm making a motion to discuss what we have on the agenda, that the riders are allowed to request a ride 5 miles outside the township, no fees, and the age should be lowered. You said that you've already lowered it, so that would be no fees and go outside of the township.
So you're making that motion?
I'm making that motion as it's
As it's
written,
written on the sheet.
as it's written in the sheet. You know, what I was gonna say before is I don't know if you can make a motion that's not here, like if this is printed like this and members of the public see it like this, could we have made a different motion?
Yes.
That's what I was trying to ask you when I was like, you know.
I think you just did.
You
Well,
did.
that's what I
You
just
just
asked
made a
you now.
You just made a
We're
motion.
just
Do we have a
waiting for a
second?
Yeah.
Hearing,
So
no
Sean,
second.
Sean,
Hearing, hold on. I'm done. I'm doing this meeting, okay?
Hey, I'm
Stop.
second that.
No, who seconded?
I am.
You're seconding the motion. Excellent. Donnie Gold second the motion. Further discussion. Sean?
The seniors want this, let's give it to them.
I just want to point out there that doing the service of what we do and how much the bus actually does, it's about $100 a rider that uses the bus that we already pay for out of the bus services from the time that we discussed this. Just want to pass that out. And then also, doing the 5 mile radius, if there's an emergency, stuff like that happens with the bus, and the bus can't make it, we basically turn into Right to Page. Where we're missing appointments, where, just wanna make that point.
So we try it for a year. That's just my opinion.
It doesn't say that, it's
Why
a
not?
motion to do it.
We can always change it.
Any
All right, I'll
further,
amend it to put a year on it then.
you can't
can't.
amend it.
All right.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Trustee Volz,
Yes.
trustee Hacker,
Yes.
trustee Lucas.
Aye.
Trustee Electa,
Nay.
supervisor Prater.
Nay. Motion passes. Discussion and approval for resolution 2022-01, the non-binding referendum question to be on the November 8th, 2022 general election ballot questions. Would ask, 1, shall Winfield Township acquire land and construct a facility for the purpose of providing social services to seniors in the township? And then 2, shall Winfield Township levy and collect an additional tax upon the taxable real property of the township in order to acquire land and construct a facility for purposes providing social services to seniors in Winfield Township?
So can I ask a question before we make a motion to do anything in this? I
Sure.
got some questions on this. Who wrote these questions?
Lawyer,
Huh?
lawyer,
Okay,
how it should be written.
because I do have I'm just kind of curious, anybody in this room work on a referendum? You probably have, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
When you read question B, part 1 and 2, it's basically the same question asked.
It's the same question asked, is they're
Yeah.
asking if they're willing to pay for it.
How much?
That's the question.
Well, how much?
No, but this is a non-binding referendum question,
That's
just
why
asking if they're willing
this
to pay
is
additional.
just what my idea is. If we're gonna do a non-binding question on a referendum, all the question has to say is is there interest in the citizens of Winfield Township for a senior center? Or senior center, no community center, just a senior center. Don't bring up anything about levies, don't bring up anything about purchasing land, because people are gonna ask, where are you putting it? How much it's gonna cost? Those are the questions, those are the first two questions I had. When I read this, I worked on 4 referendums. Every referendum always brought up where it's gonna be, how much is it gonna cost, what's the tax rate gonna be effective, what's it gonna cost me? None of this is in these questions. So I'm thinking that the question for a non-binding referendum should just ask the question, is there an interest to build a senior center? Leave it at
That's
that.
number one.
Yeah, but you don't have to bring up the levy and all that other stuff, just to see if there is an interest. Now, if there's an interest, and that should actually be put on the June,
It can't, it's too many,
the 30 days.
no, it's 79,
Oh, okay.
79.
So, well, kind of moved on that. That's just my opinion on it, that it should
Well,
more or less be worded that, is there an interest? And then if there's an interest, okay, then you go forward and say, now we're gonna raise your tax levy, this is what it's gonna cost, this is where we're thinking of building it. You have all these questions. Reading this right here does not give me any information. It does not give me all your
It gives
answers.
us the information, we
No,
wanna
but-
know the
No,
information.
but we get the idea of what's out there in the community. It's like handing out a piece of paper or putting it in the fire. You'll come back with this non-binding referendum, and is this a non-binding referendum if it passes by 2/3? A non-binding referendum can pass at a 2/3 majority vote. You do know that. Okay,
But I just think these two questions do belong together, because if you ask people, do you want a community center or do you want a senior center? People are gonna say yes.
but that's not in there.
And then when you tell them, okay, now you have to pay blah, blah, blah dollars, or do, oh no, I really don't want it. So these two
But
questions.
that's not what the question is being
The
asked.
question says,
No, it
do
does
you
not
want
say
it, and do you,
acquire
and
and
will
construct a
will we, can
facility.
we,
Providing social service to the seniors.
and then, and if you want it, can we collect an additional tax?
I don't know what he said.
So, yeah, I've never seen a referendum added like this. If they're talking about adding money, they're going to say not to exceed like 0.14%. You know, there's always like a figure on there. And there's a few things. I did write the email about the senior center. I misspoke, I should have said community center. My vision is to have a community center that you have kids can go, you can have adults go for senior citizen. How great would it be to have a building that you could have these offices in? Because like right now, you're having the, annual town hall meeting somewhere else. And the other thing that I see on here that I'm kind of, this is asking to purchase land and construct a facility. Well, there are existing buildings out there that may meet our needs, or it may be cheaper to buy an existing building and modify it for our needs. And that's not in here either. So I think if you're gonna put a non-binding, I'm agreeing with Trustee Bolts that just say, is there an interest? Because otherwise I've always seen it's going to be this percentage. And before we even do that, it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse. Shouldn't we have a budget? Shouldn't we have, this is how much that we want to spend? And I think there's just a lot of work that we need to do, because people are gonna come up and we're gonna say, well, I don't know, there's no budget, there's no plan, there's no nothing. So it's, that's kind
We
of,
first have to find out if there's even a need or want for it first, right? So that's definitely why I think there should be at least, can we agree that there should be at least a question on the November 8th non-binding?
because like when Supervisor Rainey came, you were willing to give him $70,000 every year. And when I asked you, how are you gonna get people, you said, it's gonna be word of mouth. So to me, that's assuming that you already know that there's a need, or you would be giving them 70 grand. So I think just to put this on the way it's worded, to find out if you've already done that. You said word of mouth is gonna fill it. So I don't understand why you want a referendum. I think if you're gonna have a referendum, you need to do a lot more homework, and you need to have a budget, figure out how much money you're getting from the 501(c)(3), and then, then if you're gonna put it on referendum and you want to talk about the tax levy, you need to have dollars and cents. And I also, like I said, I don't think it should be acquiring land and building, because we may find a building somewhere that,
Okay, agree.
Can I make
If you're talking about the 501(c) that we don't have yet,
Well, I don't know if we have it or not.
Yeah, so again, I just think we're going around in circles, we don't have the money for this, we do not have the
I
money
got
for
it, I
this.
got it.
Can I want to make a motion for the approval of resolution 2022-01 for however of non-binding reference questions to be placed on a
November
general
8th.
election, so I'm making a motion to approve that, so we can go around.
To put it on? Okay,
Yep.
I'll second it to get it on the ballot.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Trustee Lightfoot.
Nay.
Trustee Lucas.
Nay,
Trustee Hacker.
This is to put it on the ballot.
Yeah,
this is to put it on the referendum. We vote.
No, this is just, I'll put it on the ballot. I really don't want number 2 on there because it makes no sense, but yeah, I
No.
like the first one.
Wait a minute.
First sentence.
On
This
I
is-
think
Trustee Lightfoot.
this is for,
Yeah.
to put it on.
This is to put
Supervisor Bragg.
this to put it
Aye.
worded like this?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I don't want that on the ballot, so, okay, no. Yeah. It's poorly worded.
Yeah,
So we have-
yeah,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
It needs to
Yes.
be language, better
He
language.
just said no, he misunderstood.
Point of order, okay? Clerk Leomi, please call roll.
Trustee Lightfoot.
Roll?
Roll call, but I mean, sorry,
Roll.
please call roll for the vote to have resolution 2022-01 to be passed, so it's on the ballot for the 2020.
The question,
Both questions on there, yes.
nay.
Trustee Lucas.
Nay,
Trustee Hacker.
Nay.
Trustee Volz.
Yes.
Supervisor Bragg.
Yes, aye. Okay, so motion fails, so we don't want any non-binding referendum questions on the ballot at all regarding the senior center.
Correct.
And we're just, okay?
Can I jump in here?
Of
for a
course.
second? All right, this whole business with the senior center, trustees and supervisor, get to work. We're over here wasting our time, wasting the taxpayers' time and money every single month, discussing, coming up with a different plan every single week. Show up with a plan, show up with a damn study, and get to work. This is ridiculous.
I agree.
We're not putting anything on referendums without data. We're not putting anything out to vote for $70,000 when we levy $1 million a year when there's no data. Do a feasibility study. Get together. If this is something that drives you as a trustee, if this is something that drives you as a supervisor, get after it and go and do it. Put the work in yourself. Make it happen. This is ridiculous. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Claire,
No.
appreciate it. Okay, discussion and approval of designating $70,000 a year on the budget for Winfield Township to build, for a building fund for the senior center.
I'm going to discuss, I don't think 70,000 is enough. I think we need to discuss putting money in the budget, but 70,000 a year won't be enough. Will take us, our grandkids will finally get the senior center. I do think that it's something that we need to talk about how much to put in. And I'd like to see it as a community center, so it's not just seniors.
Okay. Anyone else want to discuss?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw something out here too. Well, you get a point, trustee Lucas, about it'll take forever to get where we wanna go. We do, on our budget here, we have a capital fund?
Capital fund?
Capital fund. We don't have a capital fund. All right, well, I'm gonna make a motion somewhere along the line here that in our budget, we put a capital fund. Because all leftover money that we get goes into the capital fund.
I agree.
Wow, what a concept. So in about 4 or 5 years, you can have $1 million.
Yeah.
So, with discussion on approval, I'm not for that because I don't think if we build a capital fund, we just put money in a capital fund. That takes care of that. That's just my 2 cents.
Then we don't have to talk about it for 4 or 5 years?
About 3 months. No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, you
because-
build a capital
because
fund, you
I
build a
agree,
capital
because
fund
this is
and you just
just-
keep putting it in.
We don't have the money for it, we're not in the
That's-
business to build community centers, to buy buildings. We're the smallest township in DuPage County. There's plenty of other places for people to go, park districts, DuPage County, their own cities they live in. I don't want to have anything to do with this, building anything or buying buildings and running community centers. We don't have the staff for that.
You're okay with a capital fund?
Yes.
Are you okay with the capital fund? Trustee Lucas, you're okay?
Yes.
Trustee Hacker, you okay with a capital fund?
Absolutely, buddy, right behind you.
Why?
All right,
All right, so
Point made.
discussion approval, so now make a motion, do we have
Well-
a vote on that, or are we just not gonna biz bag it?
To have a capital fund on our
just to
budget.
have,
No.
well, it's not even to have a capital fund, so it's not even in
Yeah,
the agenda to do it, so.
No, we have to
We
wait.
discussed it, do we designate $70,000 per year of the budget, Winfield Township budget for building fund for a senior center? My question to you is, if I don't have money to pay staff and that's $70,000 to the side, what am I gonna do? I'm just asking,
Well, you
I'm
have
just
to put it in
asking.
there.
Well, we're gonna give 70,000 to the Wayne Township, that's where that figure came from.
Why do you keep saying give? Because our constituents would be using that money
Right,
there, so why do you
Right.
keep saying
Well,
give? Because
well,
I
we
believe
wouldn't
in
have
giving a
taken
service,
from
or
them.
doing a service for
Exactly.
point of order. Doing a service for our constituents, if you don't like it, you can leave, trustee. You're okay?
You can stop badgering her, how come you get?
Sean,
Exactly.
trustee Hacker,
Right.
trustee Hacker, because I'm actually doing the meeting, that's how that works. So I tried to work something through with Wayne Township, because I noticed that many of our people were already still using Wayne Township from 20 years ago. Was there an actual study done? No, there wasn't, so that's why I asked to have the binding referendum question on there. Because a lot of our people were using Wayne Township. So that's why I asked, hey, if we want to get more people there, why can't we, do this? And what would their new senior service person, Erin, I asked her, hey, what would it be to get more people over there? And she told me. And so this also is eye-opening to see, hey, if we want our own senior center, if we want our own community center, this is what it's going to cost to run maybe only 100 people additional, or 100 people to come to this place.
Okay, but excuse me, we're talking about history again now, we're talking about history.
Yeah, of
What
course.
is what can we, somebody make a motion about this 70,000,
Yeah,
let's
I'm
move
gonna make a
forward.
motion that we okay, well, we have to vote on it. So I'm gonna make a motion that we vote on it the way it says. We have to, since it's on here, discussion and approval, I'll make a motion is the way it's worded. I'm gonna vote no, but just so we can get it off the docket.
Just a second.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
Hearing no more discussion.
Trustee Electman,
Nay,
trustee Lucas,
Nay,
trustee Hacker,
Nay,
trustee Bolts,
No,
Supervisor.
No, motion fails. Okay, budget workshop discussion. If whatever you guys are pulling out or whatever you're looking at, let us know if it's a budget comparison or the actual budget, okay? Please, if you don't mind. Or if you're looking at the expense and revenue report or what, let us know if you have any questions. From this last budget, I will tell you that I went through it again from the last budget workshop and reduced it by $13,000 from the town fund. So, just passing that out there. Any questions, trustee Hacker?
why do we keep spending so much on this attorney when before it's always like under 15,000, in the last 2 years it's just so high? It seems like we're taking that, we're giving money to the attorney, but yet we're gonna take $4,000 from Warrenville Youth and Family Services. They didn't get their full 8,000 this year, they only got 4.
They asked for 4 in their letter. I gave them what they asked for.
Last year she only got 4. She was used to getting 8. She didn't know why she was only getting 4.
Because in their letter that she sent to me, she asked for 4. And that's why.
All right, in the expense report, April 1st to March 1st, we have $8,000 budgeted. You only gave her 4. So now she's thinking 4 is the mark. That's why she's asking for 4 again. You reduced her in half.
Let me see.
And I know this isn't the case, but she asked maybe it's because she's a religious organization, and maybe that's why she's not getting the full amount. I said absolutely not.
think we all agreed on this a couple meetings ago, or last meeting, to reduce it.
He's on expenses, page 3 on this. That's what
So
he's
maybe
looking at.
that's why she's asking for 4, because that's all we gave her last year.
Oh, I see.
Well, so also tomorrow, I can also, since it was budgeted at that, I can also get a check to her tomorrow and tell them to cut the check for
She's
additional.
helping like 65 kids, and then the trips that they do, it's like $300 for a bus, and that's gonna affect the quality that these kids do. And she's still running this program where Waze isn't doing their children's program right now. They're gonna try and start it again.
Mhm.
You know, we're sitting and talking with these people. I didn't get to the other ones that you next, either the paid senior citizens or
Well, that was asked to be
the
removed.
children's center.
The
I didn't
children's,
get to those either.
those two were asked to be removed because they're DuPage County, they already get DuPage County money. That's what they were asked to be removed from the last meeting.
We're sure they get DuPage County money. Did you sit down and talk with these people and ask how this affects them? If it is true? Because I looked up on the one website, it says they do.
It does affect them.
Home repairs, they looking for volunteers.
It does affect them drastically, but the thing that was is you guys are saying, hey, if they're double dipping, basically is what I got
Are
from the
they a
meeting.
501(c) or are they run by the county?
They're run by the county.
Yeah, you know,
The DuPage Senior Center Citizens Council as well as the DuPage Children's Center.
I'm happy with giving everybody what they were getting before. Your 2 years ago, you gave $500,000 to the road district, the township, not you. This year, you, as a supervisor, you've got on the agenda, want to give back $500,000, another $500,000 rebate. So if we have $500,000 extra year that we're just giving away or giving back, I don't think we should cut back any of these, you know. When we, you know, I was kind of shocked, like when then all of a sudden the meeting ended so abruptly and you said there was only one budget. Because even though you talked about like, I think eight items and no more than 10 line items, there was never a bottom line. There was never, this is how much money we have and this is what we need to balance it to. So I don't understand how that's.
So that's in your statement in revenue, your report that you're supposed to be looking at,
Yeah,
right? As
right.
well as what is at the top of I believe I have that right here at the top.
Right, I see that, but what I'm saying is that there was nowhere that you're like, yeah, we gotta cut this out, we gotta cut this out. Because when we started out the meeting, I had said, if we're going to up Waze by $40,000, I wanna know kind of like how many of our residents go there. And so somehow between me saying upping them by 40,000, and all of a sudden, we're not giving them any money and they have to apply for money.
Okay,
We didn't up them 40,000.
No, but that's how we started it. I started the budget meeting saying if we're gonna up them by 40,000. So it went from me saying, how are, you know,
and I said we needed to reduce it if we're cutting, yes.
yeah, you
That's
said,
correct.
no,
I
I
said I'd
said
rather
I
go,
can't, we have to.
I'd rather reduce it to 20,000 and then someone suggested just to cut them completely. And I was like,
Well, I don't think it should be reduced at all. But you said we have to reduce it. And again, I don't know why, because if,
well, it's up $48,000.
Yeah, it's not
It's
reduced.
at $48,000 right now.
It's not reduced.
but
This
that's,
budget
but I
workshop,
think they
this
still should
budget-
even have more than that. Because when we had gone there, the counselors all have master's degrees. And the most junior counselor there with a master's has worked there 2 or 3 years. It's pitiful. She makes $40,000.
That's her decision.
Yeah,
That's her choice.
Yeah.
She could get a job somewhere
So
else
she
paying
she
more
sure
money.
could, but she's bilingual and she travels from a far distance too. So
That's her
I
choice.
wanna go back and say we need to up them by $40,000. We need
To
to give them
subsidize
more money.
her career choice? That's crazy.
No.
I'm sorry, that's not,
It's not to subsidize her career choice.
that's what it
It's
sounds
to
like.
provide services to our residents.
okay. What else, on here besides ways that you're looking at? So you wanted to
I
increase this
want
to
all, I want all of them.
I'm sorry. I want to clarify here, trustee Lucas. You want to increase ways to 88,000 in itself? Is that correct? With,
No, I don't
with,
think,
Well,
with what we're getting in, only 618,000 in what it costs to actually just work in general day-to-day here. I'm just clarifying, I really do wanna make sure I'm doing this right.
Well, I'd like to see it go up to 60 grand. Wayne Township is providing them the free rent, free utilities. They used to rent out some of their offices, the Wayne Township, so they actually had income, so they gave up that income to give it to Wayne's. So they lost the income and they're giving them free rent and free utilities. So I have no problem with us, kicking in more. And it's not to subsidize anybody's career choice. What it is to help the people that live in the township.
Anything else other than these?
Yeah, I would like to see everything go back to how it was before we even had the discussion.
So you want the children's center, the DuPage Children's Center?
Yep.
To give $2,000 as well. The,
What did they have last year?
the emergency alarm system, I removed that because we don't give anything, so that should be eliminated as a line item anyways, okay? And then the DuPage Senior Center, Council, you want them to also get, the $2,000 as well.
Yeah, if we don't have anything for our seniors now, I'm happy with that.
Trustee Hacker, do you have any questions on that as well?
Unless if you sat down and talked with them and said they're fine with not getting the money, then I can't take it from them.
Okay,
So this is
You know,
children's
I
center,
sat down
$2,000.
and talked with two organizations and there's a need there more than ever before,
right,
so.
of course. With COVID and everything, absolutely.
Yeah, so there's really young children really hurting themselves and.
I'm not the one that,
These counselors are doing phenomenal work.
hey, look, I get it, but you guys removed it from the last meeting. It was on there when I put it on there, so I get it.
I didn't remove anything, you're the leader.
Yeah.
I don't have access to this computer thing, I didn't mix any of this stuff.
No,
This was you.
we
all
all discussed
discussed
this. We all agreed on this 1 month ago.
No, we didn't agree on it. There was discussion.
And I'm just gonna throw this out there too in discussion. Over 4 years, when I was a trustee, I handed a budget to Donna. I said, here's the budget, Donna. This is what I'd like to see done. This is what the changes that I would like to be made. Here it is in Winfield Township Excel spreadsheet.
Yes, he is, Trustee Hacker, because guess what, he used to
You
be a
guys can do
trustee.
that. You
So
don't
he
have to wait for
understands
her to
the
send it.
position and the job of a trustee, and he became clerk. He just explained to you why he's talking. Trustee Bolts, do you have any discussion further on?
I just wonder where we're putting up, so we're putting these numbers back here to 2,000, this is going to 8,000, for youth and family.
More youth and family services, I have it at 4. You want to increase that to 8?
I thought that's what we just talked about.
Yeah. 8 or 10.
So I'm
When
trying to
the
figure
city
out
of Warrenville
different
gives them a lot of
numbers.
money as well. I'm just,
They have a lot of programs,
We're
so,
only funding kids.
Yes.
We're only funding the kids.
that's,
so specifically, our money just goes to one program, because they also have a lot like Waze does, they do a lot of counseling and everything like that. Food pantry, et cetera. So what this goes is to the Quest program, and the Quest program are for kids at risk. So, a lot of them are autistic, they may have learning disabilities, they may be socioeconomically disadvantaged, but not necessarily. And so all the money goes to the one program. They have a year-round program that they actually have a bus. Like if anybody's not close enough to come there, they'll take the bus and they take the kids home. And then they also have like a summer program too. So the money specifically goes to, students at risk.
Southern half of our township.
And they,
We're in Warrenville.
yeah, and they said their buses cost $350 to rent a bus. And they said, we'd like to do things because if we don't, the kids won't come if we don't do things. And then we kind of lose things. So we have to do things to keep them, whether it's going to house the zoo, they've gone to the fire department, stuff like that.
all right. So $2,000 under the DuPage Children's Center, $2,000 under DuPage Senior Council, DuPage County Senior Citizens, $8,000 to Warrenville Youth and Family Services. I'm missing something.
I'd like Waze to get 60,000. Can you,
Can we match it with Wayne? Because then Wayne gives 50,000,
50? Okay,
That's all we're doing is then we're just raising it $2,000, right?
correct?
So we
well,
do 50/50, I don't have a problem.
Half and half, I mean,
Yeah, we're not really
That's,
matching it.
that's how we're listed. We're listed as a partner with them.
correct.
Equal partner on their website.
So,
So we should carry equal buckets of water.
so 50, yeah, we're not, we're not carrying the, the rent and utilities, but 50 would be okay.
All right. Anything else on the budget that we have questions, concerns about?
When does this have to be passed?
It's going to be passed in
Tonight?
May meeting. May, because I have to put all the stuff in the newspaper about the budgets, all that stuff.
Okay, I'll make a motion tonight.
You're right on, trustee. Well, right on, trustee. Wolf. Okay. Anything else, trustee Hacker, on the budget?
No, thank you. I think we're good.
Okay. Trustee Bolts, anything else on the budget?
No, it's just that we gotta make a line for a capital fund someplace in there.
Oh, I can work on that. Trustee Elector, anything on the budget?
No,
Trustee Lucas, anything else on the budget?
No, just the capital fund, I agree with trustee Bowles.
And so basically, we're talking about the surplus from our budgets will go into that capital fund, right?
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Okay.
Okay.
So do we discuss that here too, about there are surpluses going into the capital fund? Is that the time we discuss
Should
that?
we get to surplus first? I mean, I believe the budget would have to pass first, so I'd have to actually have the capital fund to even discuss it, right?
Yeah, I don't know, that's
And
why I'm
I
asking.
mean,
I don't know.
whatever we have there, that, you put in that line.
Right.
And then that'll be,
Yeah, it could fluctuate from year to year, right?
Correct.
but there'll be a number, if it's a capital fund, it'll be in there and we pass it, so.
Right.
So,
So give us all a sense of direction of where we could go if we choose to.
Hearing nothing further, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll say that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Trustee Electro?
Aye.
Trustee Lucas?
Aye.
Trustee Hacker?
Aye.
Trustee Bolts?
Aye.
Supervisor Perry?
Aye, motion passes at 6:43 PM.
On a regular meeting.
Sean, do you wanna stay on the line, or do you want me to call you back in 20 minutes? Well, 15 minutes.
You can call me back, that's fine.
Okay, cool. I'll call you right back in 15 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So in our regular meeting, then F, G, and H, we can go like this, right? We just passed it. We just did all
I
that.
agree with that.
Yeah.
We can-
So when that comes up, I can say